Hello everybody, it's the July 2022 garden update. It looks okay on this side, but we'll start panning down and you'll see that drought has set in. We have not had rain since June 2nd when I showed that video clip last month. And it's just, everything is getting crispy. The moonflowers are thriving though, so that's good. I'll at least have something over here. Herb garden's kind of sputtering, but the rosemary and sage is looking pretty good. And these pepper plants are just sitting here waiting for some cooler weather. That's all there is to it. This stuff over here has seen better days, but it's still hanging on. There is a grasshopper there that I think a lizard would like to eat. I'll have to keep that in mind. I think that's what's eating these hollyhocks up. Really done a number on those, and the mosquito bushes are still hanging in there. Here's this flower bed by the lean-to, still hanging in on an intermission of blooms. Looks like it's trying to grow a little bit on these marigolds. No changes here with this ground covering. AC's been working beautifully. Not a problem, even with the R410. And there's that. Here's the center flower bed. It's just hanging on. Not doing anything spectacular right now. There's some wildlife. And the yard back here is getting kind of crispy. And here's this backside. Periwinkles, they just say bring it on with the hot weather. They don't care. Here's this section of garden. The okra is thriving. It doesn't care either. It's just going to grow. These cucumbers are not doing anything, but they are providing a bit of shade on this edge of the yard. So hopefully I can salvage some of that grass. When we start getting some rain, it'll bounce back. That's a cucumber in the middle of summer, and they are not that good. But just okra. Okra is thriving. Recently tied the tomatoes up. We'll quickly go through this area. It's just baking and not doing too great right now. Tomatoes are finished. Sweet potatoes are thriving though. This tomato plant's still growing, but I'm barefoot. It's really hot on this sand, so try to get into the shade as quickly as I can. That's better. And then here's the main part of the garden. Got more okra here. And the peas are still going. All this stuff here that's thriving is made for hot weather. All these black-eyed peas, they're just doing great. A little bit, even a little bit hot for them, but they're still producing. And here's the little flower bed by my workshop. It's kind of struggling, to say the least, though it's been watered regularly. Much to my surprise, this flower bed on the south side of the house is looking pretty good. Zinnias are another hot plant. They love the hot weather. Marigolds are kind of struggling here and there. Might have some spider mites going on in there, but here's more zinnias. They're doing fine. Tropicals are kind of in an intermission on blooming right now. The yellow flower bed is on an intermission as well. Pretty much everything's just hanging out at this point in time. It's too hot for much of anything to grow. The moss rose is doing great. This flower bed will probably get a renovation here in the fall or early spring. It's got a lot of spiderwort in it, and a lot of the other stuff I had in there's kind of fizzled out, so probably a time to dig everything out and redo that. And then this is just kind of leaning over, and it's still growing, but just not looking great. Let's look at the middle flower bed. It's doing okay. It's seen better days, but it's still blooming. Just not going to get the lush growth you would when it's a little bit cooler. Just a typical summertime pattern here. The firebush is beginning to bloom a little bit, so that's good to see. So maybe we'll have some hummingbirds here pretty soon. Here is the flower bed by the mailbox, doing fair. Periwinkles, of course, are thriving. They don't care about the hot weather at all. And the hanging baskets have seen better days. This one's slightly better. That one doesn't look too bad. But far cry from where they were a couple months ago. The hedgerow's hanging in. I've had to give it some extra water to keep it going. There's some wildlife right there. Texas spiny lizard right there. Here's a look at this area of the front yard. Not too bad over here. These plants are still doing fairly well. They've got some shade, so that's helping them out some, as well as this grass. Wished all my lawn looked like this, but that's just not the case this time of year. We'll go over there and look at that now. Here's the front yard. It's struggling in some areas. Looking better than it did, though, say 2 weeks ago. And here's an overall look of the backyard as of July 2022. It's got some areas that look pretty good, some areas that look not so good. So we'll see what August brings. I don't expect much relief or much improvement, so we'll see how it goes. Thank you for watching. Bonus footage, July 31st, 2022. Been working on the front yard. Got it brought back around a little bit. I'll do the condensed version. I treated for fungus. I fertilized. I've been spot watering those dry spots. I've been putting down surfactants to help the soil retain moisture a little bit longer. And I did a summer scalp last Wednesday, and it's growing back in pretty good right now.